What's up YouTubers, it's your girl Shannon from EV and Chill, and today's video is sponsored by EV Wash, and we're going to talk about them in just a second here. But before we do, I have to show you guys, we finally got our car back from being wrapped. Without further ado, here's the Model Y. Now some of you guys might be thinking, I don't think she did anything, because it was a red Model Y before we brought it into the shop, and it's still a red Model Y afterwards. But what we did do was we applied a satin-like PPF wrap to the whole vehicle. And okay, if you take a quick look, you guys, I think it really accentuates some of the lines of the vehicles. The rear haunches, I think it really brings attention to that. It's almost Porsche-like in the rear haunches there, with it being so accentuated. So we had a whole wrap put on here, and we had a 20% tint put on the front windows here. Now that sounds really dark. It might not look that dark, but that's because the interior is so bright white. But this is really gonna help when I'm driving. Personally, for me, I don't like that fishbowl effect. You know, when you pull up to a red light and you look over at the person next to you. I don't want someone looking at me if I'm singing out to like the radio or if I'm eating my chicken nuggies. I don't want to be watched. So that is gonna help with this. We also had a ceramic coating applied to the whole vehicle. And take a look here, we had a new wheel and tire set put on. The 21-inch Uber turbines are off, and we had this 20-inch set put on. This is gonna become like my winter tire set right here. Now I'm gonna walk you through my whole thought process on why we did what we did in just a second. But before we do, I first wanna take a second to talk about today's sponsor, and that is EV Wash. And you guys, they have this bomb-in waterless wash right here. For us, we've been using this product for about 18 months now, and so far, I can tell you after comparing other waterless washes on the market, there's nothing quite like this. It really does work, for real. And let me tell you, if you care about your car, really, if you have a wrap on it, if you have a ceramic coat on it, if you just care about the paint, you don't want to bring it through a regular car wash. That can really damage it. So you want to wash it by hand. And this is the product that I use right here. You just spray, you wipe, and that's it. And check out a link in the description below for 30% off your kit. Now let me walk you through why we chose the PPF that we did and the wheels and tires. But we'll start with the PPF. So when we knew we wanted to wrap our vehicle, we knew we wanted to go with a PPF. I knew I wanted to go with that stealth look because it looks beautiful. So I did what probably a lot of you guys would do too. I went on YouTube and I started researching because there are a lot of different brands. There's XPEL has stealth, Stek, Stek, and so I decided to go with the Stek. For me, it was a little bit more expensive, but after doing research, I found that like a lot of installers that were doing comparisons amongst the brands were finding that the Stek seems to be really durable, it's a really high quality product, and what I really like too is that the top layer is hydrophobic. So even though we have a ceramic coat on top of it, that extra hydrophobic coat is really gonna repel water even more. So that's why I chose this. And if you look really close, it has like this satin-like finish to it. Now this is the DynoMat wrap that I went with, but again, it kind of has that satin look. So for me personally, I went with a PPF over a color changing wrap because the color changing wraps, they're a little bit thinner millimeter wise. But with the PPF, what I like about it is that it also has self-healing properties. So say if there's like a scratch on it or something like that, if it spends a little bit of time in the heat, whether it's the sun or like hot water, it's gonna have these self-healing properties to kind of like buff that scratch out. So that's why I went with this particular brand here. So far, I'm really happy with it. I think it looks really, really great. I think it adds kind of like another dimension to the color. And actually, here's a perfect example of why I went with the PPF, because it is a little bit of a thicker wrap here. If you look here, you can see that there is a lot of kickback coming up from the tires. And because the rear is wider than the front, kind of like myself, You can see that there's a lot of stuff that gets sprayed up, and I really wanted to protect this area of the vehicle, and you can see so far it looks like it's doing a great job. This also shows me that I definitely need to add mud flaps to the car, which we're going to do very soon. But again, that's just another reason why I chose to go with a PPF over a color changing wrap. And again, I'm glad that I did. So once I found that I wanted to go with the Stek wrap, then I had to find an installer in my local area. For us, we live in Northern Virginia, so I found Capital Wrappers. They're in Rockville, Maryland, and they're not affiliated with us at all. They don't even know that we're actually mentioning them in this video. But Capital Wrappers, if you guys are in the local area, hit up Yuri because he did a really fantastic job. Like literally from start to finish, he kept in constant contact with us before we brought the car in. While we had the car in, he even sent us videos of it being wrapped. I'm really impressed with the work he did, so Capital Wrappers, way to go. And let's talk about the wheels and tires. So from Tesla, these came with the 21-inch Uber turbines with the Michelin all-season tires, which are really great. But for us, we do a lot of traveling in the winter, so I wanted a tire that was going to be snow rated here. So I decided to go with the Michelin CrossClimate SUVs. I'm really happy with the Michelin CrossClimate Pluses. That's what I have on my Model 3. And I'll do a video on the tires a little bit later because I'm a really big fan of these tires. But they didn't make them in 21s, so I went with 20-inch here. So that means I got some new wheels. These are from Platinum Retribution. The wheels are a nice gloss black and they're 8.5-inch wide, which means with these tires being a 255/45/20, there's a lot of sidewall and a little bit of overhang, which is going to help give the rim a little bit of extra protection. And I already went the extra mile. I put these rim savers on all the way around. That way, again, I have just that little bit of extra protection because knowing me, I'm going to need it. Sometimes I do curb things. But overall, I think this is a really great look. I think the gloss wheel really pulls out the gloss in the red caliper. I think it makes for a great profile look. I love how it's pulling everything together here. Now, we're probably only going to have these rims and tires on for like another month and a half. And for a second, I thought maybe I'll just throw some Steelies on to get through the winter. But then I thought I couldn't do red light district like that. She deserves something a little bit nicer. And I'm so glad I went with these. And actually, I got this whole set off of Tire Rack. Now, this isn't a package that you can just go on and buy. I actually pieced the wheel and the tire together. When I was even checking out at Tire Rack, it said, "Are you sure you want to buy these two things to go together?" So I had to click yes to approve it. But I'm really glad I went with this choice. Again, I think it looks really great. We have a lot more to do with Red Light District, so you're not going to want to miss it. Be sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you like what I did, drop this video a thumbs up. It helps our channel to grow. Well, that's all I've got for now. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.